I'm back with more bugs and some steps to protect your saves and builds. Hello, my name is Jennifer and welcome to my Sims 4 news video. So essentially I'm going to cover first how to protect your saves and builds per Crinrict, 3 more bugs, a reminder of the bugs mentioned in my previous video, and a template for EA Answer Headquarter bug reporting, just kind of going over that. So Crinrict tweeted a few days ago that there are a few weird issues going on, especially when playing with residential rentals. So make sure you do the following things. Save often, save multiple versions of your build while you are building, essentially save them to your library, and make sure your mods and custom content are up to date. Also, make sure you keep backup of your save games, and when you run into an issue on a save, use save as instead of save, then close down your game completely and test again. So that using save as means that if that problem occurred in between then and the last time you saved, that your last part is like easier to access. You don't have to use that whole recover thing. It just makes it easier. I do that quite often. And then she went on to say, always close down your game completely before testing another save game. Some issues jump from one save to the other if you don't close down the game in between. And honestly, if I'm having problems, I also will delete my local thumb cache. And this is actually not something that I have been doing, except for that if I want to delete my local thumb cache because I'm having problems, then obviously I shut my game down completely. But I will definitely be doing that. And again, that reminder, make sure you save often and make backups. The other thing to note with backups of your saves, essentially, is that when you have a backup and you go and get the backup to use because your save has gotten corrupted, make sure you leave that backup there and take a copy of the backup to use so that if you still have a problem, you still have that backup there. I know I've run into people where they actually move their backup in and then they had a problem and they didn't have a backup anymore. So make sure you keep the backups and don't, use them directly because then that can cause problems. So as I said, there are actually 3 bugs that I'm covering here. They're not necessarily new. They just weren't ones that I had really noticed so much when I did my previous video. So this first one is that the residential rental lot type is getting stuck. And even if you try and change it to another lot type, it's not changing. Usually if I'm trying to place a different lot type on top of an existing one, regardless of what it is, I will always go in, change the lot type, and then place the new lot type on top. But I don't know that I don't think that's gonna help in this case, but it's just a general thing. And this isn't affecting everybody because, much as 72 people is a lot, not everybody is having this problem, but it is a bug. This bug report is referring to that they're trying to change it back to a residential lot, but I've seen people say that they're just trying to change it, say, to a community lot, any type of lot. It doesn't help. It doesn't matter. They're getting stuck on this residential rental lot type. So personally, I would not take any saves that I care about and put residential rental lots in any other world other than the new world. But that's what I have been personally doing because I don't want to cause issues with any of my long-term saves. But if I had a save that I didn't care about, then I would place it wherever. But, and hopefully when they fix it, it can be retroactive, but sometimes bug fixes aren't retroactive and they only help going forward, which is why I personally wouldn't put, as I said, any residential rental lots in worlds other than the new world, unless it's a save, as I said, I don't care about. So now we're going to move along to the second bug, which is this error code 102 or 122. And you can see here, it's not that popular. It's had 20 Me Too's, but obviously not everybody comes and adds a Me Too, so it probably has affected more people. But this person played and then all of a sudden they couldn't get into their game, or they couldn't get into their lot. I think the issue is if you try resume, then you would get that error code because if you can't get into the lot, Resume is trying to get you into your household that you last played. So if you ever have these error codes, instead of using Resume, use the load game, and that takes you to the map view. And then if you can get to the map and then you try and go in the household and you're getting this error, either of these, then you know the issue is with that lot or that household and not with the full save. So what, in reading through, this shows here like that they had duplicates, but that wasn't actually the issue. The issue is that that second sim in that household doesn't actually say where they live. It doesn't say that they live in any world, but it also doesn't say that they're not in any world, which is what it should say for household. So that household is a household that's in limbo. So initially it was thought that it was duplicate households. It's not. It's like if they don't have anything as to that they live somewhere or that they're not in the world, that's a limbo household. And so what one person found was that the workaround was to take that household, which the issue is you can't delete them from your managed worlds, is to try and move the Sims out of that limbo household into another household. And then after this person had done that, they could delete the household. And Crinrict tested it, and it seemed to be hit and miss. So sometimes it worked, and it was more of an issue sometimes if it was a single sim, like had in that screenshot. It seemed to work better if there are multiple, but it is something to try if you're having that problem. And it seems to be maybe tied to, say, if possibly when tenants leave, they get stuck in limbo. I don't know that that happens with everybody, but it can be the case. So if you have tenants leave, you might want to exit without saving, which is why that's saving often, so that if something happens that looks like, oh, that might be a problem, exit without saving so that you don't have to accept it and you haven't lost a lot of work. So that's that particular bug. Now, the next one is not actually a new bug, but it has got more traction since the For Rent update, and then also even more so since For Rent came out. So you can see here that there's all these little orange exclamation marks over the lots, and then they can't even load into the households. Essentially, they're kind of gone. That actually was reported at page 13, and we're already at page 18. But the original bug report does date back to July 2021. It's still going on. And at this point in time, 93 people have had this problem. How many of those are new reports? I don't really know, but you can see part of it is also people are troubleshooting and commenting back and forth, but it has had quite a bit of activity on this particular bug report. And it's another thing to be, looking for, another reason to make sure you have backups of your save and whatnot. So in case you're interested, I did do another bug report video. So those are some base game or other pack bugs. The main one there is this gardening issues. I've had this a lot, or not being able to tend out of season's plants. And at the time that I did the video, there was no mod to fix it, but now there is a mod fix by Thunder. There is at the time that I did for Rent bugs. There are actually more. This was just some plus these new ones here. And then there's the list of the mod fixes either mentioned in the original video plus this new one that came out after that. I make a note there, and I have that in my blog post, which will be linked down below from my previous video. And you can go check out that video if you want to see more details on there. So here is the template for when you're doing a bug report on EA Answer headquarters. So you should be prompted if you're going into the Sims 4 bug reporting section, as opposed to like there's a technical section in the game and mods and whatever. But in the bug section, this should be coming up. If it doesn't come up, what I did, because when I was trying to get this screenshot, it didn't originally come up. I refreshed my page, I pulled the thing up again, and I went in and did new report, and then it came out. So you have to fill out everything, including that top line, which is the title, which is showing empty because I didn't fill anything out. I was just getting the screenshot, put all that information in. If you have a lot of expansion game packs and stuff packs, you might want to consider whether you have less, and you should say all but, or if you don't have as many, then you should just list the ones you have, because it just probably makes it easier. And then you say how you got your bug, what happens when the bug occurs, what do you expect instead of what happened, and then you fill out like it's just you just fill in, you check it essentially, and it goes. And then there's a second area where you can put more details, share some screenshots, etc., etc. And then once you fill that out, right now I hadn't filled anything out, so it only shows preview. It would also have a submit button, and so you would submit. But if you don't actually get that little template coming up after trying to refresh it and getting it to go, Crinrict has a whole section on how to fill this out. This is just very high level, and I actually recommend going to see what she has to say. She has a little template there, and she asks to create a new thread in the PC tech area and tag her and put that information in. And just in general, even when you're adding information onto other existing bug reports, it's actually really useful to put some of that, at least that, whether you have any mods and what you've done and whatnot, to add some of that information. It makes it a lot easier for them in understanding what the issue is. But essentially go over to that area, fill that in, and then she'll create a bug report from all of the information that you've created if you don't happen to get that template to come up. So let me know if you've had any of these issues, and if you've ever done a bug report over on EA Answer Headquarters in a comment down below. But that's going to be it for this video. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye!